Hey guys, Rex finally showed that he's not just a guy who throws firecrackers, right? Man, it's too intense. The powerhouse finally appeared, but not the way we wanted. There were deaths, there was blood, there was a lot of fighting. Could Earth be dominated by the CQ? Let's check out every detail of the 5th episode of Invincible. Even Bill Murray was in this episode, can you believe it? Here and there, Invincible came back, surpassing. Totally, guys, I really like this series because when I say surpassing, it's because there were deaths, there was brawling, there was a lot of blood. 2 apocalypse threats in one day came back with everything for the second part of the second season in this episode 5, huh? They came back with a bang, and of course, as I promised, I'm here to clock in and give a complete analysis of everything that happened in this episode. Don't worry, there won't be any spoilers for the next chapter. So, let's check out this analysis with me, but don't forget one thing. Hit the like button and comment. Did you enjoy this season premiere? Did you think Amazon messed up with that time gap, right? HP dropped a bit. Well, I confess that mine dropped, but now it's back in full force. So, I'm excited again. I don't know if the wait was a bit long, but it doesn't matter. I'm back with full force, guys. The return of Mark. The episode begins by adapting Invincible's issue number 30, showing how the planet Traxon was completely destroyed after the Battle of the Viltrumites. There's no way around it, right? If Superman can destroy Metropolis, imagine several Supermans on one planet. But obviously, there were some changes compared to the comics. There always will be. Mark was found by 2 Traxons. While in the Zas, he flew to the Hideout, where he left Andressa and his brother. But the series changed that and made it clear that somehow Andressa managed to escape alive from the caves. It's going to make a lot more sense, right? And then he rescued Mark. From there, he helped rebuild their city for about 2 months. Some scenes are identical to the comics, like practically identical, right? But what changed there were the dialogues between Mark and Andressa. It made it much more fluid, much more humanized than in the comics. In the comics, Andressa is kind of arrogant. In the series, she shows that she has changed a lot compared to the other Traxons, thanks to living with Nolan. And the funny thing, guys, is that Nolan himself kind of changed because of Mark's Deb. So one person ends up influencing the other, right? It even reminded me of a Tintin story now, which has nothing to do with it. With this here, but it's true, I don't know if I think it was from Tintin. If someone reads Tintin there, remind me of that. Then I read them all, but I'm not remembering it right. The guys arrive on the island and all the parrots are saying, "Thunder." Thunder with 1,000 dragons, my bottle of rum. So the parrots had been taught by generations of parrots until they reached the first parrot that belonged to a pirate. Right? Anyway, folks, I really enjoyed the adaptation of this part of the story, but on the other hand, I think they fell short with the battle on land against Omnipotus. I talked about him here on the channel. The guy is extremely powerful, and his fight lasts a little longer in the comics than in the series, right? There you can see him facing some teams of superheroes, and in this fight, Donald shows that he is the cyborg android. His body is robotic, but the brain is organic, so he's more like a cyborg than an android. We can say that. Anyway, another important point of the fight against Omip is Black Samson recovering his powers. Of course, the story took another turn in the series, right? In what we're seeing now, Samson has long since returned to the Guardians of the Globe, but in the comics, this was the fight where he came back strong. That was the point. I really hope that, at some point, fighting against Sequid, he can show these powers like in this part because, well, it may have been cool for you in the series, in the animation, and it was also for me, but when I bring something from the comics to you, it's like, you know that thing you're reading and it lifts you up? Wow, that's awesome. Would you like to see a moment like that in the comics too, huh? If we miss it, right? So, I'm bringing that to you too, but these changes I'm seeing in the timeline, if we compare them to the H, it kind of leaves some gaps. Hompot's fight, man, was one of those cool fights to watch. I believe that in the next episodes we'll have some flashback about this fight. maybe even showing Black Samson's powers and explaining to everyone how he got those powers back. Anyway, Mark's return to Earth is also quite similar to in the comics. Of course, we have to comment on a somewhat unnecessary dilemma in Mark's life: college. Seriously, guys, I know it might seem kind of silly for Mark to worry about college, him being invincible, right? Like, why would he want college the way he is? But remember that Superman has a job as a reporter, right? And he's Superman. Because logically he could live in the Fortress of Solitude or maybe even run his own farm just fine there in Smallville. He could travel to Metropolis very quickly, you know? No need to worry about that. But the thing is, they are humans before heroes, even though they're aliens. Before being aliens, before being heroes, they are humans. They've learned humanity. So, having powers is amazing, but having a human life, growing intellectually, is also necessary for them. I speak for myself too, you know? Okay, what I'm about to say might sound crazy. I could have all the money in the world, but I would still want to continue here on this channel. I love it here. It's kind of like a vice, you know? I grew up like this. They grew up like this, right? It would be strange if an alien came to Earth with superpowers and suddenly wanted to go to college. That would be something, right? But when they're born, they're raised as humans. It's completely understandable. And speaking of college, huh? A cool detail that I picked up while watching the 5th episode. Oh, it was the book that William was reading. The book was Total Consciousness, A Philosophical Life by Dr. Carlos Spacker. Do you know who Carl Sparkler is? This guy is a character from the 1980 movie Pilates Club, played by Bill Murray. And there's a moment where he tells the story of his encounter with the Dalai Lama, who left a message for him saying that when he died, there would be no money on his deathbed. He would receive total consciousness. Total consciousness. Seriously, this reference is just for those who are old school. Okay, way too cool. Debbie and Oliver haven't been mentioned yet, but Mark's brother will be named Oliver. And, seriously, this isn't even a spoiler. Okay, chill. The cool thing is that the episode showed that Deb is a truly fundamental person in Mark's life. Nobody there wants to raise Oliver in a laboratory surrounded by government agents. Nobody wants that. It's the basis of Superman himself, I think. In fact, it's really cool of Robert Kirkman to bring that to the comics. Now, for the series, if Oliver were raised by government agents all his life, seriously, he'd just be a machine at Cecil's service. And seriously, Deb is going through a lot. First, her husband is an alien assassin. Then, she's left alone without a child for months. Then she gets the news that he's alive, and now she's going to raise a baby with him. Oh man, a baby with an aunt, huh? Man, that's a tough one to handle. Thank you for watching the first part of the analysis of Chapter 5 from Season 2 of Invincible. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to leave a like, comment your theories, and subscribe to the channel to not miss the second part and other related videos. See you soon, and may the journey through the analysis of Invincible continue.